In current year, pretty much any major game has a randomizer, and the topic of what would a Super Mario 64 randomizer be is one that we pretty much hear all the time, especially when I'm streaming Ocarina of Time randomizer. So there is a Super Mario 64 randomizer that recently came out. I just checked the GitHub, it came out exactly 7 days ago, so pretty new. I wanted to go over my thoughts on it and talk about what could be done to make ultimately a great randomizer experience, at least with the ideas I have. Obviously, the more ideas, the better. Maybe this is a good starting point. So as of right now, I don't see this randomizer being a super fun experience for anyone that isn't a speedrunner, which racing and speedrunning is very often associated with randomizer, but in case of Ocarina of Time randomizer, like anyone can play that. They don't have to be a speedrunner. They can have the settings they want, and the incentive for doing the randomizer is beating it as opposed to trying to beat it as fast as possible. And right now I only see an incentive of trying to beat this as fast as possible. How this works is you have a ROM that is slightly modified, not much. It allows you access to everywhere in the game, and that's it. There is no per randomizer seeding that is changing the ROM. What goes alongside with the ROM is this software where you specify some things, you generate a seed. So basically my goal of completing the challenge would be to do all these stars, check them off, probably, yeah. And then complete the game, I imagine. So I really see like this is only for races. I think for racing, this is probably super fun because then you can have unique races all the time that you've never done before. Routing becomes a thing that has the same appeal that bingo has for me. But as an actual randomizer, it's extremely disappointing. It features no intro cutscene, which is great streamlined experience for racing. You can immediately warp to the wing cap. You'll need wing cap as a prerequisite for a handful of stars, so your typical randomizer would be immediately going there and getting the switch. All the doors are unlocked, you have every key, so you can freely move around the castle. And the goal purely would be to get these 10 stars and then I assume beat the game. So I think that this is actually an excellent race experience, but I really see no incentive to do this on your own. I could never see myself doing this for fun unless I was racing somebody and competing. Now, what is more akin to the randomizer is something like Super Mario 64 Chaos Edition, which completely sucks and isn't randomizer in the randomized sense, but it offers a lot of reason to play it and try and beat it. Because it is different every single time, and this isn't really a different game. You're just having different goals when you play it. An idea that I always thought was a great one, each seed has a different ROM. What the ROM would do is randomize enemies, and maybe randomize textures as like an aesthetic thing, randomize your Mario. Like these are very basic randomizer ideas, but I think the main thing is that each level can be worked out in a predetermined set of coordinates. Now, I can't give you specifics, but let's say Mario's capable of standing here, and he's capable of standing in all these locations surrounding me. Those are predetermined coordinates in all 3 dimensions. But let's say that something like down here would be a range of coordinates that is deemed, impossible, or at the very least impossible without glitches, which allows glitch randomizers and non-randomizers, which appeal to larger pools of people. So let's say that these coordinates down here are deemed impossible. They're within the range of impossibility, theoretically. So a star could never spawn down here, but in one of those allowed coordinate locations, a star could spawn, and the randomizer actually would become incredibly fun, especially in a race environment where you're racing to actually find wherever the star is, as dumb as the location might be, before your opponents. And I think that offers a lot of value for just playing on your own. Like, you wouldn't need to race somebody to load up the game and have fun trying to find stars in any location. Like, they can vary from literally randomly being right where you spawn around here to being, say, in here or something. And I think that adds a lot of reason to play a Super Mario 64 randomizer. But with the nature of the game, there aren't a lot of ideas you can do in the first place. This program isn't doing much of anything that I haven't seen before. I tried to find it so I could demonstrate it, but there was an old program that someone in the community made called Super Mario 64 Slot Machine, which is a very similar thing. There wasn't a seeding system, but basically it would take a list of stars and jumble them in a random order, and then you would start on a 120 star file, and it was like, go for it, you know, get these stars in this order, and then beat the game. It was something to race. It was fun, and I see that this is fun in the same racing sense, but it isn't introducing anything that like a typical randomizer would. This is version 0.25, and I really hope, because I would just honestly had so much fun with a lot of ideas that could be delved into, that this was further expanded upon. And yeah, I mean, that's mostly all I have. This is obviously very early, and I'm not trying to hate on it. I do think it's a genuinely great racing experience. It would be similar to Bingo, which is a great racing experience. I love Bingo, so I'm not hating on this at all. I do hope that more ideas are being pushed out there. But if you have any ideas for Randomizer that you think would be sick in this game, maybe this comment section can serve to be a pool of ideas that later can be put into making something that a ton of people would enjoy playing. That's all I really have. Yeah, leave a comment if you have any cool Randomizer ideas, and hopefully we live in a world where someone takes advantage of all those minds in one spot and is able to do something sick. Also, let me know in the comments if you like this kind of video, because I like to branch out a bit and offer a bit more to you guys than what I have been. Alright, subscribe for more, and that's it. See ya.